For a student athlete, turning pro, that's the dream, right? It's everything you've worked for, all coming down to one moment. But that transition is also incredibly high stakes, and it's protected by a really specific and very serious set of rules. So today, we're going to crack open that rule book.
So let's just jump right in with a scenario. Imagine an agent offers a star college player a brand new car. No strings attached, they say, just a little gift before you sign with me. So what do you think? Is this just a super generous gift? Or is it a felony that could torch the player's career and maybe even send that agent to prison? Well, the answer is written in the law.
I mean, that road from college superstar to professional athlete it's paved with opportunity, for sure. But it's also full of traps. And these laws, they exist for one simple reason: to protect the athlete and their dream from people who might try to exploit it.
And here's the thing you have to understand. One bad move, often pushed by a shady agent, can have absolutely devastating consequences. I'm talking about an athlete losing their eligibility to even play, getting their scholarship yanked away, their whole future in sports just gone before it even gets started.
Okay, but here's the good news. There is a powerful defense system in place. The solution is this really solid legal rulebook, a multi-layered shield of laws at both the federal and state levels, all designed to protect student athletes when they're most vulnerable.
And that shield starts at the very top, at the federal level. What you're seeing here is the Sports Agent Responsibility and Trust Act, or, and you gotta love the acronym, SPARTA. Congress passed this to set a clear, nationwide standard for how all athlete agents have to behave. Okay, so how does this whole shield of protection actually work? Because it's not just one single law. It's actually a three-tiered system, and all three parts are designed to work together to give that student athlete complete coverage. Think of it like this. At the bottom, you've got your federal foundation. That's SPARTA. Then, sitting on top of that, you have state laws. And for most states, that's the Uniform Athlete Agents Act, or UAAA. And then, for the real nitty-gritty, the day-to-day stuff, you have the state's own administrative rules that put it all into practice. So let's talk about that federal level. The big takeaway from SPARTA is this. It makes it flat out illegal for an agent to lie or give you misleading information. And this goes right back to our car example. It forbids them from giving you anything of value, cash, a car, a loan, whatever, before you've officially signed an agency contract. But, the federal government didn't just leave it at that. SPARTA actually includes this phrase, "It is the sense of Congress," which is basically a really strong recommendation, almost a nudge, telling the states, hey, you guys should all get on the same page and adopt a uniform law. And guess what? A lot of states, including Georgia, did exactly that. They took that advice and adopted the Uniform Athlete Agents Act, which really just mirrors and strengthens the federal law. Then, Georgia's Secretary of State created the specific administrative rules that spell out exactly what agents have to do to operate in the state. Okay, so with all of this at stake, how do you tell the good agents from the predators? The first and most important line of defense is this super rigorous registration process that every single agent has to pass before they're even allowed to talk to an athlete. I mean, just look at what they have to disclose. To get registered in a state like Georgia, you have to lay it all out on the table. Your training, your experience, any time you've been disciplined, your criminal record, and even if your actions have ever gotten an athlete or a school in trouble before. It's a top-to-bottom background check. And it's not just about filling out forms. Agents also have to get something called a surety bond. Basically, you can think of it like an insurance policy. In Georgia, it's got to be at least 10 grand. The whole point is, if an agent messes up and their actions cause the university to get hit with fines or losses, that bond is there to cover the damages.
All right, so an agent jumps through all those hoops. They're vetted, they're registered. What happens then? Well, now we get to the actual rules of engagement. There are very strict do's and don'ts for every single interaction they have with the student athlete. And this slide right here, it really shows you how these laws work together beautifully. On the left, you've got the federal law saying you can't provide anything of value. On the right, the state law says you can't furnish anything of value. The language is a little different, but the message, it's exactly the same. No improper benefits. Period. And when it's finally time to sign that contract, the law throws up one last, massive, can't-miss-it safeguard. Every single agency contract in Georgia has to have this exact warning. Look at it, bold, all caps, right where you sign. It's non-negotiable, and it's designed to make you stop and think about what's at stake. And the second that contract gets signed, a clock starts ticking. Both the agent
and the athlete have a legal duty to tell the school's athletic director. And this isn't a get to it when you can kind of thing. The deadline is super tight. You have to do it within 72 hours or before the athlete's very next game, whichever one comes first.
Okay, but what happens if an agent just ignores all this? If they decide to play by their own rules? Well, the consequences are no joke. The cost of breaking this rulebook is incredibly high, and that's on purpose. Yeah, let's be crystal clear here. Breaking these laws isn't some minor slap on the wrist. In the state of Georgia, if you violate the Uniform Athlete Agents Act, you've committed a felony, a serious crime that comes with serious time. First off, a conviction can come with a massive fine. We're talking up to $100,000. And honestly, that's just the start of it.
Because a felony conviction also means potential prison time. We're talking up to 5 years behind bars. That's how seriously the state takes protecting its student athletes.
And even beyond the fines and the potential jail time, the fallout is huge. The university can sue them for damages. The state can revoke their registration for good. And any contract they signed illegally, it's completely void. It's basically a career-ending move. So you see, this whole rulebook, it isn't just about punishing the bad guys. It's about protecting you. It's your shield. So the real question is, now that you know the rules of the game, how are you going to use them to protect your own career? Because that's a game you just can't afford to lose.